of the things I realized is that many students that are starting out as developers, especially front-end developers, they find it difficult, putting together all the pieces of HTML that they learn. So they learn these things, these topics in bits, but putting it together to make a complete meaning, to build something, it's always quite difficult for them. So I'm making this video quickly to just, we're going to work on something together. I'm doing it live while you're watching and you're coding along, right? And I'm using the case study of this website. This is Honest Scholars website. It's you can check it out. It's a very wonderful website. They offer educational services from various countries. So quickly, this is their blog section. Now, originally this website was built with React.js, right? And I can imagine that these cards will probably be something like, you can actually have them as components and pass down this image src, this h1 text, this paragraph text, and this anchor tag URL, passing them down as props. But I'm sure that you might not understand what that means. So this, I assume that this video is for people who are just starting out. You're trying to learn and you're probably still trying to find your way around HTML and CSS. So quickly, we are going to just create, we're going to just together create this simple card. We're going to clone it to make it look exactly the way it is. So come with me. Already I have my VS Code, and I have a folder already open inside of it. So it's called card. So I'm going to create I'm just create, shall I call it blog.html rather, blog.html, and yeah, inside of it I'm going to have the shortcuts. I'm sure you probably know this. Sorry, my shift button is not working. So once you have this hyphen, is it hyphen they call it, exclamation mark rather, you have that already written instead of having to write it by yourself. So I can just call it blog card as the title, and then of course we want to have a CSS file. So I'm going to just type link. Once I type link, but we've not created a file yet, so inside here let me just create a folder called CSS. And inside this, I'm going to click this. I ensure that this arrow here is facing down before I create a file. Otherwise, if it's not facing down, if it's not facing down, I might mistakenly create the CSS file inside the parent card folder. All right, now, so right now it's facing down. I can now create the file. I'm going to call it blog.css. So sorry, that's my caps lock is on. Blog.css. All right, now, beautiful. So the first thing I like to do, let me first link this, right? Link, you can just make use of this Emmet abbreviation, link CSS, and I can just edit this one. So connect my CSS to this. Now, this CSS file is inside a different folder. If I just type blog.css here, which might be the mistake many of you make, you will not find it. Can you see? So if it doesn't pop out here, you know that you are wrong. So I will try one dot and slash, and then it brings the other folders there. I click on CSS and I can now finally pick this. To confirm that it's connected, I'm going to just do what I usually do. Asterisk. I like to do asterisk. I'll just do the asterisk. Okay, first of all, shift and 8 gives us asterisk, and then I could now do, oh my god, sorry, I have to use this thing. So I could now use my curly braces, and then I could just do yes. So if you notice, I have an AI that works with this, and it helps me to make my work faster. But don't rely on AIs. Especially, you can see this is one year. I have them installed, but make sure that you know it before you start using AIs to make your work faster. Because sometimes AIs could be wrong. They will give you wrong code. So if you don't know it yourself, you could be misled. All right, now, so aside this, I could now do, let me just do background color. This is what I used to test, the background color. I set it to black. I'm going to set it to black. If it works, then fine. Our CSS has been connected to the HTML. So I'm going to right click here and copy path. Very simple. Go back to the browser, and in a new tab now, I'm going to paste this and enter, and it's black. So that means that background color, that CSS is working. So I'm going to remove this one right now. I don't need it now. So back to this now. This is what we have. Now inside the body, I like to do this. You divide it into the header, the main, and the footer. It's called semantic markup. Main and footer. Can you see? All right, now, so we're going to ignore the header and the footer for now. We're going to work in with the main. This is where the main content of the website are all written. So inside the main now, oh, you can see AI give me suggestions because it saw block card. The AI is quite smart. It saw the title as block card and it's already giving me suggestions now, but I click away because I don't need that suggestion. So let's, first of all, before you write a code, you need to understand what you want to do and what you want to achieve. Don't just start writing. Now, this basically want to clone this. Want to have these 3 cards. Exactly. This is what we want to clone. Having these 3 block cards. Each of them is like a container. If you let's analyze it individually, each of them, they are all alike. It's like a big container. Inside the container, there is an image. Inside the image, there is probably an H2, a paragraph, and an anchor tag with this icon, right? All of them are all nested inside this big container. Now we have 3 containers here. They are more like 3 siblings, triplets. You can never find 3 children or triplets without a mother. So every container you see likely has a parent container. So these 3 children cards like this, we call them block cards. They are all nested inside the parent container. So you might not see the parent container, but trust me, they are all inside a parent container. Just like you can never see a child walk on the street without a parent. The parents might be dead, but the child must have come from a father and a mother. So the same with design. Every container, every card like this has a parent, whether you can see it or not. So let's assume that the parent is a section. So I'm going to write a section first of all. Yeah, a section, and I'm going to give it a class name now of let me call it card container now. Card container. Or card, let me just call it cards. Cards, yes. I'm going to call it cards. Inside the parent, that is where we're going to have the 3 cards. So the first thing I always try to do is to try to visualize them step by step so that I don't make mistake. When you get to a professional level, you can write. So to visualize this now, I'm going to copy this card, this class, to avoid errors, and copying it, and I'll just paste it here. And then inside, the first thing I want to do right now is actually to have a border. The border or background color helps you to visualize it. If I write a border of 1 pixel solid black, okay, 1 pixel solid, no, I don't like this color, let me use black, thank you. I'm not going to see it because I've not given it width and height. Let me save it and check the page. You're not going to see anything actually. So reload. You can see that you can see the thing is there. So currently it has width but it doesn't have height. So let's give it height so that we can visualize it. Sometimes you might not even see the thing. You might not even see it at all until you give it width and height. So I'm going to give it height now of height of 80 VH. That's 80 view height. That's what that means. And let's look at what it's going to look like now. All right. So we can currently see the parent container. This is it here. It's too close to the top of our browser. I want to give some space, and to do that I will add some margin top. So just add some margin top of maybe 4 rem or more. Anything you like is fine. Let me give it 6 rem. And you can increase it or reduce it as you wish actually. Alright, now so there is proper space. There is space at the top and at the bottom now, which makes it very good. So the next thing I want to do is, now that we have this, we can see the parents. Now let's also try to write the children. Now we see that we have 3 containers, right? Each container can actually be a div, it can be a section or an article. So in this case I'll prefer to use an article since it's related to a blog page. So I'll call each of these containers, I'll call them an article. We have, how many children articles do we have? 1, 2 and 3. So now each table I'm going to write the skeleton, which might not look meaningful initially, inside that same parent. Remember, every parent always has children. Every mother has children. So this is the mother. Now we have article, 3 children articles. Article with a class of card. Remember, this is card. Why the parent is cards, plural. Why this is singular. So we have this now. This is the first child. I'm going to copy and replicate now. Second and third child. The same way, if you check the page, we're not going to see anything at all because the child has not been given width or height. Now I forgot to mention earlier, every container like div or section naturally has their width by default as 100%. That's why you notice that we didn't bother setting the width of this section, because by default it is 100%. If I now write the width and set it to 100%, sometimes it actually gives it kind of doesn't come out well. But since you already know that a div or a section has 100% width by default, don't bother writing the width, just leave it like that. Except you want something smaller, you don't want it to be 100%, you don't want it to occupy your entire screen, you want maybe 30% or 60% or 50%, you can now use the width. But if you know that you want it to occupy the entire screen, just leave it, don't bother writing width. So now we can't see the children even though we've written them there, so we're going to style them as well. Card. So for each of the cards, any style I apply on card affects the three of them actually. All right, thanks AI, but I'm going to remove this because it might mislead me. So of course, this AI is very smart. The first thing I want to do is to visualize the child. 1 pixel solid red. Let's use red this time around. So I'm going to use 1 pixel solid red. Let's look at them and see if it will be visible. Okay, it is here, but no height. Let's give it height now. So I want it to also be as tall as the parent. So I'm going to say the height should, I can either say inherit. When you say inherit, it means inherit this property from your parent. So inherit the height of your parent, and the parent's height is 80 VH. So if I say inherit, it means 80 VH. And I can also write it manually the way we are used to, 80 VH height. And now you can only use VH for height. You can use pixel, you can use rem, you can use hem, right? You can even use percentage in some cases, not all cases, but preferably I'd like to use VH. So currently, let's see what it looks like now. All right, height. But you can see I have, this is the first article, this is the first child, the second one, and the third one. Unlike what we have here, each one is long but is kind of slim, and the three of them are occupying this space. But here I have them as each of them is occupying the entire width, so each of them is currently 100% wide, which I don't want, and that's why it is now stacked from top to bottom. And that leads us to flex. I want them to actually be arranged from left to right, not top to bottom. To control the direction of the children, you write the style on the parents. Don't make that mistake. You write the style for the parents. Just like as a child, a child cannot control his movement. The child cannot determine when he goes to school what he eats. It's the parent that determines where the child goes to, when he goes to school, what school he goes, what he eats, when he sleeps, when he plays game, when he watches TV. The parent controls the movement of the child. So in the same way, in CSS, the parent should control the positioning, the movement of the children to some extent. So in this case now, don't come and write your display of flex inside the child. You have a bad day. Rather, write it in the parent. So there are 4 things you write in this case. First of all, you set display to flex. The second thing is the flex direction. Flex direction. There are 2 types of flex direction. We have column and row. By default, it is in, by default now, it is in row because it is stacked from top to bottom. If you look here now, this is top to bottom arrangement instead of left to right arrangement. If you look inside each of those cards, you see that inside each card we have image, we have the H2, we have the paragraph, and we have the anchor tag. This is an example of top to bottom. So in this case now, inside here, this is column, but for this parent, his own is row because the children are arranged from left to right, and that's what we want to achieve. So I'm going to set the direction to row. Row. The third thing you write is justify content. You can either use space around, space between, or space evenly. I particularly like to use space between. And the last one you write is align items, center. Right, so let's look at what it looks like right now. Okay, so it's no longer aligned from top to bottom, it's kind of aligned from left to right, but somehow it's choked. We are not even seeing the card there. Just why? Because each child is trying to occupy 100% width. So we can control their behavior. Let's now go and style the child and tell each of the children card to say to occupy probably 30% width. Now, how do you determine the width of the child? Look at now, we have height but we don't have width. You can see that this AI is very smart. It literally picks my voice and quotes what I say. In most cases, actually, sometimes it does something different. So you don't just write 30% because I said so. It's simple arithmetic now, right? If the parent occupies 100% and you have 3 children, let's put it this way: you have $300. You want to share it among your 3 children equally. It's just common sense. You divide it by 3. Each child gets $100. In this case now, you have 100% width. This parent has 100% width, and she wants to share that width among the 3 children. When you divide with your calculator, divide 100% by 3, each of them is entitled to 33.3%. So let's give each of them 33.3% and see what happens. All right, now 33.33%. We share them equally. So let's look at what we have. Now it's looking better. It's looking better, right? Fine. If you look at the first one here, currently you can see that the cards are all stacked. Everything is stacked to the wall, to the edges of your laptop or probably your desktop. Whereas it's not very visually appealing. In good professional websites, you always find some spacing. You can check every website, there's always some padding. We call it padding in CSS. So for this parent, let's give the parent some padding. That is, the parent should have some space at the left, right, top and bottom before the children. Just like when you get married, you can decide that, all right, I want to have some spacing. I want to wait for 2 years before I have my first child, so that me and my wife can enjoy the marriage. And then after the first child, you can say, I want some spacing. I don't want to have the children all choked up. Let's give like a 3 year spacing before we have the next child. That applies here as well. So for the parent now, we are going to give the parent spacing, padding, top and bottom, left and right. So I could basically write it individually and say, for this parent, padding left, padding right, padding top, padding bottom, which will take more time. Rather, I will just use the short-term property padding, and I'm going to say top and bottom 3 rem and left and right 6 rem. This is a short-term property which I assume that you should know about. So 3 rem for top and bottom, 6 rem for left and right, and let's remove this border now. Since we don't need it again, we can already visualize it. So let's refresh and see what it looks like now. All right, now can you see that the space is there at the top, at the bottom, at the left, sorry, at the left, right, top and bottom. If I try to write any other thing, design any other thing below here, or maybe add an image, you will see the space will be obvious. If I have a nav bar at the top as well, the padding will be obvious. The next thing I want us to take note is, currently, even though the parent has the spacing, the children don't have any spacing in between. And if you notice, even though in our CSS code we wrote space between, justify content, space between, but currently there is actually no space between them. Why? That is because they are all taking the entire 100% width. They've taken it totally. There is no space again. So let's reduce the width of each of the cards so that there can be some spacing. So I can say for each of the cards now, I want to have 30. Let's see what 30 will look like now. You will find that now there's kind of breathing space in between them, and you see now that there's breathing space. So we can use 30, and you can probably use something like 30. Let's use 32, since we're trying to follow what the original looks like. So the space will not be so much, right? Little space, just like we have in the original. Can you see we're getting there? The next thing you should take note is each of these cards. Now we're still going to remove this border. We're just trying to use it to visualize. Each of these border currently has a border radius. It has a border radius, right? It has a border radius. It's curved. Currently our own is kind of sharp edges, and it doesn't make a card a container look fine that way. It's always best when you have the curved edges. Even your buttons also is always good that way. So I'm going to say border radius now. I'm going to set it to 10 pixels. That is what I usually use. But you can use something lower or something more than that. But trust me, 10 pixels is always fine for me. So currently it's all curved now. Lastly, I want to add box shadow. You see, what makes this thing obvious is because of the box shadow. So I could say now that currently, let's remove the border. First of all, we're not going to notice it again. We are not going to notice it again because currently there is no border. The background of the div is white. The background of the parent is also white. There's no way it can be obvious. But there's a way we can actually make it obvious, and that is by adding box shadow effect. So I'm just going to add the box shadow now to it, and box shadow. No, box shadow. Box shadow. All right, this is good enough. 0.4 pixel, 8 pixel, and black with opacity alpha channel. So let's look at them now. We should find them now. Can you see that they are more obvious now? They are more obvious. To make it more obvious, the parent is currently white. We are going to reduce the background color. It's too bright, so that there can be some contrast. So background color now is meant to be white, right? But we're going to dim it a little. So I'm going to say, instead of white, let's make it a little dim, not directly white. Let's see what that looks like now. Oh my god. Okay, all right, now let me see. Okay, for the card, let's give it the background color of white. Let's specify it. I guess it inherited that as well from the parent. So let's see, each of the card has white, why the parent has that. All right, it's better now, but something is wrong. I'm not finding my margin. I'm not finding my padding at the top. I expect to find some spacing at the top, and I'm wondering what is wrong. Let me see. Padding at the top, 3 rem. Let me see. Height 80. Okay, let me remove this one first of all, and let me see. So these are real life challenges that you might face. All right, now it's better. These are real life challenges that you might face. This is kind of too gray. I want to make it off-white, something that looks very much like white but not exactly white. So white is 255. This, let's shift it. This is 245. All right, now RGB 245. It should be closer to white. All right, now it's closer to white now. Let's see. Okay, it's still a little dim, but it's better this way. We can actually write it manually, and I can actually change it to 250 manually. I think 250 will just be perfect. It will look very much like white, but there will still be that difference. All right, now so 250. This should be perfect for it now. All right, now it's better. So we've already set the skeleton. The next thing now is to start coding each of the child. Now if you notice, now once you work on one, it will be easy to work on the others because they are all similar. So if you notice, even each of the child cards has a padding. There's actually padding. You can see that there is some little spacing. The same with this one as well. We didn't notice it here because this image is quite slim. So for each card, now I'm going to give each card padding of 1 rem. Padding of 1 rem. Padding of 1 rem. We are not going to see any difference until we start adding content. The first thing we want to add now is this image. I think we tried to save it in the previous video, but we're having a bad time, and that was because of, let me see, it should still be on my image. Let me see my download history. Okay, I had storage issue, so let's try to save it again now. Save image as, it should be currently inside our asset folder 1. Let me just save it as image 1. What did I save it as? Oh, 1. Oh my god. Okay, let me save the next one as 2 then, just to maintain consistency. I was going to write img1. So 1, this is 2, and then the third one here is 3. So I'm going to save that as well as 3 in my folder. Now the first thing I want to do is I'm going to put in the image. So like I said before, we already say that we can see that all the things inside this article, they are arranged from top to bottom. So it is safe to just set the display as well to flex, just like we did for the parent. I'm going to set the display to flex. I'm going to set the flex direction this time around to column. Like I've taught us that since it's top to bottom, it has to be column. And what else again? Flex, justify content, space between, maybe. Alright, space between. I think that is fair enough. And line items should probably be center, or maybe not necessary. If it's necessary, we'll add it. Okay, so thank you. So now let's add the first thing inside. Let's open the first one and add image, alt text of let's just call it blog post image. All right, now the src, let's pick it from our laptop. Now I'm using /, even though we saved it as 1. If I type 1.1, we won't see it because it's in a different folder. Remember that assets are inside a different folder, unlike the HTML. So to access it, Sometimes you might try dot slash. If it doesn't work, then you try dot slash. One of them will show you. Now this is the folder. And remember, while you are typing, until you see it populated, don't just write one.png and think it will work. If it's not populated, if it's not showing, then it's wrong. So make sure that you can see everything before you and you click it. So first of all, I've seen the asset folder, and then I can now see it. I click it. It will definitely work. After the asset folder, we have other things. Look at what we have now. We have this and H2, a paragraph, and an anchor tag. I'm going to nest all of these ones inside a section. I'm going to just nest them inside a section. So this article has two children now, one image and one section. So I'm going to write a section now, a section. Inside the section, the first thing we're going to be having is H2. That's an H2, and I'm going to copy this. We're going to paste it. That's the H2, right? Next, we have a paragraph, I believe. Let's copy that as well. So we copy the paragraph text. Remember, we're trying to clone it exactly the way it is in the original. We clone it, and lastly, we have an anchor tag. Now, this anchor tag, right? This anchor tag has what's the word? I prefer to use target a blank. All right, now let me show you what I did again. Instead of just using normal anchor tag like this, I prefer to use anchor tag a blank, because this a blank, when you click on it, it opens that URL on a different tab. So now let's copy the URL here. I'm just going to copy this one, copy link address. We are going to borrow it, not steal it. We're going to borrow it, right? So I've copied it. Now we have the anchor tag. What's the text of the anchor tag? It says read more, I think. It says read blog. Read blog. And then if you notice, there is now an icon in front of it. There is an icon in front of it. So I'm going to put this icon now. We would go to Font Awesome. I want to believe that you are used to Font Awesome. If not, well, maybe you might just drop a comment in this video. I might probably create a video to explain how to use icons from Font Awesome. So I already have an account with them. All I just need is to click on start. Let me click on start, and okay, start for free. I already have an account. I guess I'm signed out. So I click on this, and so all right, let me enter my password as well, and I sign in back to my account, my Font Awesome account. All right, my kits. Where are my kits? Where are my kits? Where are my kits? Okay, this is my kit already. So I click on my kit, and it's going to give you a code that you're going to add to your HTML. It's a JavaScript linking code. This is it. It's called script. This is what we use to connect to JavaScript. So I'll just, very simple. I know you've not learned JavaScript. You don't have to bother about it. Just follow my steps. Copy the code and paste it at the bottom of your body. That's before the close of your body element. This is the body tag. Before the close, post it there and paste it there. And then now that we've pasted it, you can now add any icon we want from their website. Without this code, it won't work. Now let's now go to icon and search for forward arrow or something. Yeah, forward. Should I call it arrow right? I think arrow right might just be what we should search for. Let's search for arrow right. Come on, please bring it out. Okay. Okay. Why are this all pro? Now you don't have to. Okay, this is arrow right long. You don't have to go for the pro. Pro means you have to pay for it. You don't have to pay for it. You will definitely always find something for free there. So I click on arrow long, and then it brings me this code. This is HTML currently, and I'm going to just click on it. I've copied it, and I'm going to literally paste it now inside. What's the word? Where's that anchor tag now? Where's the anchor tag we were doing before? So I've pasted it, and to make it better, I'm going to cut this text as well and paste it also inside. Shall I call it inside? What's element? I've forgotten this element. Oh my, span, inside the span, right? So inside this anchor tag now we have a span and we have this I tag. So currently you can be sure that it's going to look very, very bad, very, very ugly, because we've not styled it. So let's look at what it looks currently. I'm scared already to look at it. Okay. Oh man, it's not as bad as I thought. Interesting, it's not as bad. So currently the image already sitting well. The next thing we need to, like, I think, yeah, the image is already fine. It's already sitting very fine. The next thing we need to style is this one. Currently everything is shrink to the bottom. So let us okay, let us, where's the section? Okay, the section inside the article is what we're going to style now, and I'm going to use the CSS style, which I believe you already know. Section inside article is what I want to style. So the first thing I want to do is to visualize it as usual. I'm going to just give it a border. Let me even see, let me look at it, because I can't even see it currently. I just know that there's some text inside, black. All right, now let's look at what the section looks like currently. Okay, so this is what it looks like now. Let's increase the width first of all. Sorry, height. Let's increase the height to, should I call it 100%? No, I can't call it 100%. Let me give it 70%. Let me give it 70% and see. Oh, I think 70% might be too much. Okay, let me see. Even if I give it 100%, what happens? I think but that does not make meaning. It's better to just, let's give it 70%. Why the, or let me give it 60%. Why the image, that image inside the card section, we give it a height of, okay, I don't need all of this, thank you. I only need the height. If we give the first one 60%, I think we should just give the second one, if we give it 40%, there might be no space in between them, so let's give it 35%. Let's see if 35% for the image is okay. Okay, it's quite short, so let's increase it to 45. Why this will be 55? Yeah, 55. All right, now everything is 100%. Okay, no, let me give this 50. I want it to be, I need some space in between. Okay, I think this height is fair enough. I believe it's fair enough. All right, now, so now finally what we need to style is this one. The first thing you notice is there's still some spacing here inside this container that we can't see. That is, there is a padding here. So let's give this section padding. Let's give it padding now. Let's give it padding. I can increase the height of the image to even 40 itself, since we're going to give it padding. So now this section, let's give it padding of 1 rem at the top, just something little, and then at the left 2 rem. I hope it won't be too much. If it's much, we're going to remove it. So let's see. Let's reload the page. Okay, I think the space is better now. The space here is better. I think it's fine now. So we can remove the border. We don't need that for now. So okay, so what else do we need to adjust now? Remember, we're trying to clone something, so let's look at this one. First of all, the H2 is quite larger, but before then, so you can see, wait, is our icon showing? Okay, it's showing. Perfect. So now let's start with the 3 things. There is space between them, but currently we don't have space. Yeah, there are different ways we can do that, but since it's already a div, where is it? This section. Okay, let's display to flex, and flex direction column, and specify content space between. That should work perfectly now. All right, now going fine. So next, now we want to increase the I think, is the font size okay? 4. Let's increase the font size of the H2. So the H2 inside that card section now. Card. Let me just copy this. Right. Let me just copy this. Card section. The H2 inside it. Okay. Thank you. Very smart. Very smart. I don't want to change color. So let me increase the font size to 1.5 rem. Let me see if that won't be too small or too big. Okay, no difference. Let's change it to 2 rem. 2 rem now. 2 rem. All right now. Beautiful. Oh, okay, that's too large. That's too large. Let's just maybe 1.7 might just be fair enough. Okay. Okay, I think that's fair enough. The next thing I want to style is this paragraph. Let's increase the height as well. Let's increase the font size rather, and yeah, font size. So I need a paragraph. Let me just copy this, and to make my work faster, is the paragraph I want to style right now. So I'm going to increase the font size. I don't need to change the color. I only need to increase the font size to 1.2 rem. That will be good enough. And then another thing I always add to my paragraphs to make it look nicer is, hope it's not too big. Okay, I think it's a little big. Let's make it, let's make it 1.1. 1.1 is fair enough. I think we can just leave it like this. And then finally, we should style. Yeah, it's getting better. And finally, we should style this read blog. This is an anchor tag. Now for this anchor tag, let's look at it now. Inside the anchor tag, we have this anchor tag is serving like a parent now, because that's two children, this span and this class. So let's call those let's give it an ID now, or a class, since we're going to repeat this code of read, or should I say, yeah, read more. Let's just call it read more. So I'm going to start it now and say for read more. Okay, thanks for the AI, but let's write it by ourselves. So the first thing we want to do is we want to remove the, of course, text decoration. We want to set it to none, because currently you can see that there's an underline here. Do we have underline in the original one? Okay, yes, so there is. So I think we should actually leave the text decoration, but let's change the color and the font size. Color and font size. Color is more like a green family. Let's do the green, and font size should be like 1.2 rem. Let's see if that will be too small or too big. You can always adjust. So font size is perfect now. Okay, all right. Okay, so the next thing is we want let's give it some width. Okay, let me give it border so that we can first of all see, because that guy is too close to it. Or we don't necessarily need to do that. We can just, there are different ways we can do this actually. This span. Okay, let me give it a border first one so that we can see it. 1 pixel solid red. 1 pixel solid red. Wow, so much space actually. So display now. Okay, since there's so much space, let's just style the span alone. Or let me see, I actually want it to be aligned. Display is equals to flex, just like every other container, and flex direction now is row as well. We want it to be left to right, but I want them to be aligned to the center. Currently, we notice something. The text and the blog are not aligned to the center. The blog, this icon and its text, they are not centered. This one looks like it's a little to the top. Now I'm going to do align items, set it to center, and you see the advantage of align items now. When I set it to center, it will be properly aligned now. All right, it's better now. So next thing I want to do is to give it some spacing. I want to give this thing some spacing, so I can actually style it using this one, but I can just style this span. So now I'll say now the span inside, we have a span nested inside this anchor tag, and the anchor tag has a class name of read more. So I'll say for that span, I want you to give it margin right of 0.5 rem. Let's see what that looks like. So this is the span. I want some space by the right. Let's see it now. All right, now I think it's better now. It's better now. Currently, if you notice, there is the arrow also has the underline. Well, we can actually remove it if we want. There's a better way to do that. There's a different way we are going to have to style it if we don't want to have that arrow there. But currently, this is what we have, right? So I've removed the border, and I think it is fine now. So lastly, just to have let's just make it fancy, add an over effect. Let me increase this one a little more. 52. Why this the image is 52, right? While the section. Is it the section? Yeah, the section is probably 47. Okay. So now for this anchor tag, I want to just all right, now text decoration. When we hover it, I'm going to set it to none. That is, when we put our cursor over this thing, that underline will disappear. And then what else do we want to do? I'm going to change the color to red also. Text decoration will be none. Cursor will be set to pointer, and color will be set to red. Oh, sorry. Color. Okay, let's see what dark green looks like. Let's see. Okay, let's leave it at dark green. Let's see what it looks like. And what else do I want to do? Okay, I think that's basically what I want to do. And to make it more interesting, I'm just going to actually have transition. Sorry. Yeah, transition all 0.3 seconds is. So I think it should pop. Once we are done with the first one, every other thing becomes easy now. So look at, I over it, and the color is not really changing, so I think I will just change the color to red. Like I said, the AI can mislead somebody. All right, now red is probably more obvious, noticeable. So once I over it, my cursor changes to finger, that's pointer, and you can see what it looks like. And yeah, it's beautiful. Now that we said the first one, it is very, very simple to do the remaining three. What we just need to do is, in fact, a better way to do it is just duplicate. So inside each card, let me just duplicate what the content of each card now. Oh, sorry, inside each article. Yeah, this is the article. I'm going to just duplicate this. This is a simple way to do it. Or you can just write them, since they already have the same class name. But a smarter way to do is just duplicate it inside the three cards and edit them. That's the fastest, smarter way at which I will do mine. Now look at it currently now. They are all looking alike. So what I just need to do is, let me change the text here. I think this one was supposed to be 2.2. Let me see, where's the first one? This is the first one. Now this is the second one. It's supposed to be 2.jpg. Then the H2 should be this, right? And where's the H2? Okay, it could be confusing sometimes. Let me update the H2, and then this paragraph as well, let's update it. This for the second one. Now this is the paragraph we want to see there, and yes, override it. And lastly, for the anchor tag, the href of this blog post on the original website is different, the URL. So we're going to copy this URL, right click and copy link address, and doing that I can now paste it back here. I think we've done that for the second one. And for the third one as well, asset is equals to 3.jpg. that's what we saved it as, remember, 3.jpg. so let's update the H2. You can see that this is faster instead of me having to start writing it afresh like most new students will do. So I just copy this as well and paste it. Also the paragraph, let's override the paragraph as well, and copy and paste as well, override. And lastly, this href, let's fix it up. Okay, this last one, let's copy it as well, right click the original and copy the link address in the original website, and so we can paste it here now. And I believe that let's check our home now. It should be okay. I think okay, this is looking, I think because we stretched this image, that's why it's looking like this. On the original it was not giving a width, but this is actually the proper way to go about it. Okay, currently, oh sorry, I zoomed out. So I think that it is looking exactly how, or almost exactly how the original is looking. Now if I want to have something below it as well, it's very simple. I could just copy the entire section, this entire section. Look at what I'm going to do. This entire section of cards, I'm going to just copy it right now, and I could just oh sorry, I think I copied the wrong thing. Yeah, section of cards, this starts from here and ends here. Okay, so let me just copy the section of cards again. That's if I were to have multiple, like in a separate line below it. I've copied one, and I will just after the closing tag, I go to the next line again and paste it, and I can start editing it and changing the images, changing the text content, and it would still come out fine. So let's reload this now. Currently you can see now that, and you see, so it's very simple. You can try it out, and just drop a comment on the section and let me know what you think. If you face any difficulties, please just drop a comment. And if there's any topic you'd like me to just cover or teach and post about, please feel free to just drop it on the comment section. And please like this video, share to your fellow developer friends, and most importantly, please subscribe to this channel. When you subscribe, ensure to turn on the notification so that when I drop more tutorial content like this, you can get the notification and get access to them. Thank you once again. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial.